Hi, all. So, I want to start talking about the energy of this week, the energy of confusion, with a little story. So, in high school, I was taught that the best way to write a history paper was to create a thesis and an outline, a step by step logical argument that made sense, right? And that this was going to help me write a paper so much faster. Well, it didn't. For me, this was not the best way. I found myself spending hours trying to write a 3-page paper, and I was very frustrated. It wasn't until I was in college that I taught myself a new way to write papers that allowed me to enjoy the writing process and the creative process so much more. So I discovered that if I just wrote down every single idea that I had in my head, whether it made sense or not at the time, I could read over or reread what I had written and restructure it and come up with a new thesis, a new argument that was also logical, right? But it's something that I wouldn't have found by engaging in that logical step-by-step process in the beginning, right? I had to lean into this abstract way of thinking first, and turns out it was in perfect alignment with my energy. So I have gate 64, the gate of confusion, pretty heavily in my chart, and this is the energy and the pressure to find understanding within confusing topics, and then to share the clarity that you then find. So in the high expression, it is leaning into confusing topics without forcing the answers right away. It's letting them come in their own time, and using your strategy and authority will allow this to happen when it's supposed to happen, right? Low expression is trying to force answers and to force clarity when there is none. Low expression is also mental overwhelm, right? So taking your time. So for you this week, it might look like you are going through past memories and you're like trying to make sense of the past. And again, just take a step back, let the epiphanies come in their own time, right? Don't try and make sense of it right away if it's not there. You might also find yourself drawn to more confusing topics than usual. And it might be hard for you to lean into confusing topics at first because you're like, who's going to really care about this, or who's going to want to engage in this confusion? But ultimately, if you're drawn to it, you are here to bring clarity to others, to make those confusing topics less confusing to others. So for me, I mentioned I have this in my chart. I call it one of my theta healing gates. And so the way I experience it is when I am theta healing with a client, I receive information about their past lives, their ancestors' lives, their childhood memories. I receive clairaudient information about what limiting beliefs they have, what's blocking them from living their best life. And so this is gate 64. This is getting my inspiration from a higher power, and it's usually associated with the past too. So I have the full channel, the 6447 channel, so I'm able to bring clarity probably even faster than the average person, just because that's an energy I have in my chart. So if you want to know how to lean into your energy in a way where you are operating so that you can find clarity faster, and that you can, if you're abstract like me, if you're an abstract thinker and you're conditioned to believe that logical linear thinking is the best way, getting a human design reading can be really helpful, right? Because I can offer you strategies to help you lean into the abstract. So I think that's it for today. Until next week.